Deep under the sea, there's an exciting story about when people meet considerable sharks in the water. What happens in this surprising meeting? Does it lead to a scary moment, or is there something unexpected waiting to be discovered? This adventure will reveal the secrets of the deep sea and show us what happens in these encounters. It's full of mystery and wonder. We will explore it all. Are you ready to find out the truth? Stay with us until the end to uncover the hidden world beneath the waves. Jack Harper loved adventures in the beautiful waters of the Great Barrier Reef, Australia. Jack had been kayaking for years and had seen many beautiful places from his little boat. But there was one place he dreamed of exploring more than any other: the remote coastline of the Great Barrier Reef, famous for its clear blue waters and the many fascinating animals that lived there. One sunny morning in 2010, Jack decided it was the perfect day for an adventure. He prepared his kayak with everything he might need: a life jacket, a paddle, water, and a little food. He pushed his kayak into the water, jumped in, and started paddling. The water was as clear as glass, and he saw colorful fish swimming below him. He felt happy and excited to be on this adventure. As Jack paddled along the coastline, he admired the beauty around him. He saw birds flying overhead and dolphins jumping in the distance. It was like being in a whole new world, a world of water and life. Jack felt part of this beautiful place, and his heart was joyful. But then, something unexpected happened. While Jack was enjoying his journey, a curious and somewhat aggressive hammerhead shark appeared. Hammerhead sharks are easy to recognize because their heads look like a hammer. This shark seemed very interested in Jack and his kayak. At first, Jack wasn't scared. He knew the ocean was home to many animals, and seeing a shark wasn't unusual. But then, the shark started circling his kayak, getting closer and closer. Jack remembered all the stories he had read and the advice he had been given about what to do if a shark came close. He knew he had to stay calm and not make sudden movements that could scare the shark or make it act defensively. But staying calm was hard when the shark began bumping into his kayak, as if trying to figure out this strange object. Jack tried to paddle away slowly, hoping the shark would lose interest. But the shark didn't go away. Instead, it became more aggressive and started attacking the kayak. Jack knew he was in a dangerous situation. He had to think fast and use his survival skills to protect himself and his kayak. Using his paddle, Jack tried to push the shark away every time it came close gently. He didn't want to hurt the shark. He just wanted to show it that he wasn't food and that it should leave him alone. It was a scary moment, and Jack's heart was beating fast. He knew he had to be brave and intelligent to escape this situation safely. As the sun set, the shark finally seemed to lose interest in Jack and his kayak. Jack was relieved but knew he wasn't out of danger yet. The shark's bites had damaged his kayak, and water was starting to get in. He had to find a way to return to shore safely, but it would be a long and challenging journey with a damaged kayak. Jack looked at the coastline in the distance, took a deep breath, and started paddling towards safety. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to make it. As night began to fall, Jack paddled with all his strength, hoping he would reach the shore before it was too dark to see. As Jack paddled through the darkening waters, every stroke was a battle against fear and fatigue. The coastline seemed far away, and his kayak took on water faster than he had hoped. The sky turned pink to deep blue, and the stars twinkled above him. It was beautiful, but Jack couldn't focus on the beauty. He had to keep moving, keep paddling towards safety. The water inside his kayak made it heavy and hard to move. Jack remembered something he had learned a long time ago about survival. He took off his life jacket and used it to scoop water out of the kayak. It was a slow process, and he had to stop paddling to do it, but it was working. The kayak became lighter and easier to move. Jack felt a spark of hope. He put his life jacket back on and paddled with renewed energy. But the ocean was not done with Jack yet. The wind picked up, and waves began to rock his kayak. It was scary, but Jack knew he had to keep his balance. He focused on the stars, using them to guide his direction straight. He thought about all the adventures he had been on and how he had always found his way back home. This time would be no different, he told himself. After what felt like hours, Jack finally saw lights on the shore. He was getting close, but he was also exhausted. His arms felt like they could barely move. He thought about giving up, but then he thought about everyone who cared about him. He couldn't give up. He had to make it back for them. With his last bit of strength, Jack paddled toward the lights. As he got closer, he could see the beach and the trees. He could hear the waves crashing on the shore. It was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. Finally, with one last push, Jack's kayak hit the sand. He had made it. He was safe. Jack dragged himself and his kayak onto the beach. He was exhausted, but he was alive. He looked back at the ocean, at the dark waters that had tested him. He had faced a shark, fought the waves, and won. He knew he would never forget this adventure. The next day, Jack told his story to the people in the nearest town. They were amazed by his bravery and his survival skills. Jack became a legend, the man who faced a hammerhead shark and lived to tell the tale. But for Jack, the experience was more than a story. It was a reminder of how mighty and unpredictable the ocean could be, and how precious life was. Jack continued to kayak and explore, but he was more cautious. He respected the ocean more than ever. And he remembered his encounter with the shark every time he went out on the water. It had been a terrifying experience, but it had also shown him how strong and brave he could be. Jack Harper had faced his greatest fear, and he had emerged stronger. The adventure had changed him, and made him appreciate every moment of his life even more. In recent memory, a brave and fast swimmer named Emily Stone was preparing for a giant swimming race in the sunny Florida Keys. This wasn't just any race, it was a long journey through the ocean, where swimmers had to be very strong to finish. Emily had trained for months, swimming every day to prepare for this big day. She loved the water and felt at home swimming with the fish and sea turtles. The race day was bright and sunny, with clear blue skies and the ocean looking like a giant sparkling pool. Emily put on her swimming cap and goggles, ready to show everyone how fast she could swim. She lined up with the other swimmers, her heart beating with excitement and nervousness. When the whistle blew, they all dove into the water, their arms slicing through the waves as they started their long swim. Emily felt great, her arms strong and her breath steady. She looked around and saw the other swimmers beside her, everyone trying their best. But as they got farther from the shore, the water felt different. Like a mighty river in the ocean, a strong current pulled Emily away from the other swimmers. She tried to swim against it, but it was too strong. Soon she found herself all alone, the other swimmers just tiny dots in the distance. Emily wasn't scared at first. She knew the ocean well and thought she could find her way back to the race course. But as she swam, she noticed the water getting deeper and darker. The friendly fish she was used to seeing were gone, replaced by more prominent, shadowy figures that moved swiftly below her. Without realizing it, Emily had swum into a place where sharks liked to come and eat. The locals knew it as a shark-feeding ground, and it was not a place for swimmers. Emily had heard stories about it, but never thought she would find herself there. As she looked around trying to figure out the best way to get back, she saw them, a group of black-tipped sharks, their sleek bodies cutting through the water, their fins like triangles poking out of the sea. Emily's heart skipped a beat. She had seen sharks before, but never this close and never so many. She remembered what her coach had told her: if you ever meet a shark, stay calm. They might be curious, but usually don't want to bother people. Emily took a deep breath and tried to keep her movements smooth and slow, hoping not to attract attention. But the current still pushed her, and the sharks seemed to notice. They started to circle her, coming closer with each loop. Emily could see their black-tipped fins and their sharp eyes watching her. She knew she had to do something. She couldn't outswim them, but she could show them she wasn't afraid. Taking all her courage, Emily started to swim again, not away from the sharks, but parallel to them, showing she was strong and not easy to scare. She hoped they would lose interest and leave her alone. But as she swam, one shark, more significant than the others, swam closer, its fin cutting through the water straight towards her. Emily's heart was pounding. She knew she had to keep her head and remember her training. She was in their world and had to be competent to return to hers. In the deep waters of the Florida Keys, Emily Stone faced the biggest challenge of her life. Surrounded by black-tipped sharks, her heart raced like a drum. But she remembered what made her a champion: her speed, courage, and intelligent thinking. With the giant shark coming closer, Emily did something surprising. Instead of swimming away quickly, which might make the shark chase her, She floated calmly and looked big in the water. She spread her arms and legs wide, showing the shark she wasn't afraid. The giant shark circled her again, its fins slicing through the water like a knife. Emily looked right into its eyes, showing no fear. Then, something unique happened. The shark stopped coming closer, looked at Emily briefly, and then with a flick of its tail it swam away. Seeing their leader leave, the other sharks followed, disappearing into the deep blue sea. Emily let out a big sigh of relief. She had faced her fear and won, but she wasn't safe yet. She needed to get back to the race course and find help. She started swimming with all her might, using her arms and legs to push through the water. The current that had taken her away now helped her get back. As she swam, Emily saw something in the distance. It was a boat, part of the race team looking for her. She waved her arms high, and the ship came rushing towards her. The people on the boat pulled her in, asking if she was okay and if she had seen the sharks. Emily nodded, her breath still heavy from the swim and the fear. She mentioned sharks but reassured everyone that she was unharmed. The people on the boat were astounded by her bravery, offering her a blanket and water as the boat quickly returned to shore. When they arrived, everyone was waiting for Emily. The other swimmers, the race organizers, and the local people who had heard about her adventure. They all cheered for her, calling her Shark Whisperer and Ocean Champion. Emily smiled, happy to be safe and to have such a story to tell. But the biggest surprise was yet to come. The race organizers decided to give Emily a special award, not just for her swimming, but for her bravery and respect for the ocean and its creatures. They said she had shown everyone the importance of understanding and facing our fears, not with panic but with courage and calm. From that day on, Emily was more than just a swimmer. She was a hero, an example of how to face the unknown with bravery and a calm heart. People listened whenever she told her story, learning that the ocean is a place of wonder and respect, where even the scariest encounters can teach us something important about ourselves. Her story inspires others to face their fears and remember that courage and calm can bring us safely home, even in the deepest waters. Not long ago, Lucy Hart loved taking pictures underwater. Lucy was an underwater photographer. She used a special camera to take photos of fish, corals, and sea creatures. Lucy had traveled to many places with her camera, but there was one photo she dreamed of taking more than any other. She wanted to capture a picture of the mako shark, a fast and beautiful shark that was hard to find. Lucy heard about Guadalupe Island in Mexico, known for its clear blue water and fantastic sea life. It was also a place where the elusive mako shark was sometimes seen. So, Lucy packed her camera and gear, ready for an adventure. She hoped to take the photo she had always dreamed of, one that would show the beauty of the mako shark to the world. When Lucy arrived at Guadalupe Island, she was amazed. The water was more precise than any she had seen, and the colors of the fish and corals took her breath away. She couldn't wait to dive in and start taking pictures. Lucy wore her diving suit the following day, checked her camera, and jumped into the water. The sea welcomed her like an old friend, its calm waves hugging her warmly. She swam around taking pictures of the colorful fish that danced around her and the corals that looked like gardens under the sea. As she explored, Lucy found a secluded reef that was even more beautiful than the rest. It was full of life, with creatures she had never seen before. Excited, she took photo after photo, hoping one of them would be the dream shot she had come for. She focused her camera on a gorgeous coral and felt something watching her. A chill ran down her spine and she slowly turned around. In the blue distance was the mako shark she had been dreaming of. It was even more magnificent than she had imagined, its body sleek and powerful as it moved through the water. Lucy's heart raced with excitement and a little bit of fear. She knew mako sharks were fast and could be curious about divers, but this was the moment she had been waiting for. She raised her camera, her hand steady despite her racing heart, and waited for the perfect shot. The mako shark came closer, its eyes on Lucy. It seemed curious about the camera, its sleek body gliding effortlessly through the water. Lucy took a deep breath and snapped the photo, capturing the mako shark's beauty. But then the shark didn't swim away. It kept circling Lucy, coming closer with each pass. Lucy remembered everything she knew about sharks. She knew she needed to stay calm and not make sudden movements that could scare or provoke the shark. As the mako shark circled her, Lucy wondered what she should do. She had her dream shot, but now she needed to ensure she could return to the boat safely. The shark seemed more curious than aggressive, but she knew respecting the powerful creature sharing the water with her was vital. Lucy Hart faced the mako shark with a mix of awe and concern. With its sleek body and curious eyes, the shark circled her. Lucy knew she had to keep her calm. Sharks, she remembered, could sense fear and panic in the water. Holding her camera close, Lucy decided to use what she knew about the sea. Instead of trying to swim away quickly, which might make the shark think she was a fish trying to escape, she floated calmly, making slow and deliberate movements. She wanted to show the shark she wasn't a threat or prey. After a few more circles, the mako shark seemed to understand Lucy wasn't food. With a graceful turn, it stopped coming closer and started to swim away. But then it did something unexpected. The shark slowed down, almost as if giving Lucy one last look. Lucy took this chance to take another photo, capturing the moment of peaceful coexistence between humans and sharks. Lucy felt a rush of gratitude and respect as the mako shark disappeared into the blue. She had come seeking a photo, but was leaving with a profound experience. She understood now more than ever how important it was to respect these creatures and their home in the ocean. Swimming back to the surface, Lucy was excited to share her story and photographs. When she returned to the boat, she showed everyone her pictures. The photo of the mako shark was stunning. Still, her story of respect and understanding genuinely captivated her audience. Lucy's adventure became more than just a quest for a photograph. It turned into a lesson about the beauty and complexity of marine life. Her story spread, inspiring others to see sharks not as monsters of the deep, but as an essential part of the ocean's ecosystem. The impact of Lucy's experience went beyond her photographs. She began to work on projects to protect sharks and their habitats using her images and story to teach people about the importance of conservation. Lucy became known as an underwater photographer and an advocate for the sea and its inhabitants. Years later, Lucy would reflect on her encounter with the mako shark as a turning point. It taught her about bravery, respect, and the delicate balance of life under the sea. Her photographs, especially the one of the mako shark, hung on her wall as a reminder of the day she met one of the ocean's most misunderstood creatures and learned to see the world through a lens of respect and wonder. And so, Lucy Hart's story of her encounter with a mako shark in the waters of Guadalupe Island became a beacon of inspiration. It showed that with understanding and respect, we could find harmony with the natural world, even in its most thrilling and unexpected moments. A man named Alex Johnson lived in a place called Gansbaai in South Africa, known for its beautiful ocean and full of great white sharks. Alex loved adventures and always wanted to try new and exciting things. One day he decided to do something audacious. He wanted to go shark cage diving. He would go into the ocean in a special cage to see the great white sharks up close. Alex had heard stories of how thrilling it was to see these magnificent creatures right before his eyes. He wasn't scared. He felt excited and couldn't wait to dive. So he booked his trip, put on his wetsuit, and joined the crew on a boat that took him far into the sea, where the sharks lived. The boat stopped in a place where the water was deep and clear. You could see down into the water for a long way. The crew got the cage ready. It was big and made of solid metal bars to protect the divers from the sharks. Alex put on his diving mask and climbed down into the cage. His heart beat excitedly as he thought about coming face to face with a shark. At first, he could only see blue water and small fish swimming by. Then, the crew on the boat threw some food into the water to attract the sharks. Alex waited, looking all around. Suddenly, he saw a shadow in the distance. It got bigger until he saw it was a great white shark. It was huge, with big, sharp teeth, and moved through the water smoothly and quickly. Alex couldn't believe his eyes. He was so close to a great white shark. He felt excitement and fear, but he was safe inside the cage, or so he thought. As the shark circled closer, something went wrong. The cage door, which was supposed to stay locked, suddenly swung open. Alex stared at it in shock. The only thing that kept him safe from the sharks was now available. He knew he had to stay calm. He grabbed onto the bars of the cage and pulled himself away from the open door. Outside, the great white shark circled, coming closer to the cage. Alex's heart raced. He had to stay inside the cage and wait for help. Up on the boat, the crew had seen what happened. They started shouting and working quickly to fix the problem. One of them grabbed a long pole and tried to reach the cage to close the door, but it was complicated with the boat moving in the waves and the shark so close. Alex watched the shark and the open door. He knew he had to be very brave. He couldn't let himself be scared of the shark. He thought about all the adventures he had been on and how he had always found a way to be safe. This time was no different. He just had to wait and trust the crew to help him. The crew worked very hard. They knew they had to act fast to keep Alex safe. The shark moved around the cage, looking at Alex and the open door. It was tense, with everyone hoping the door could be closed quickly. Alex Turner clung to the bars of the cage, his eyes locked on the great white shark circling nearby. The crew above worked frantically to fix the door, but the waves made reaching Alex safely hard. Alex knew he couldn't panic. He remembered stories of the ocean he'd heard as a boy, tales of sailors and divers who faced the sea's dangers with courage. Drawing on that courage now, Alex held tightly to the cage, making himself as small as possible, trying not to attract the shark's attention. The sharks, curious about the cage and the splashes from above, came closer. Alex could see their massive bodies, the scars on their skin telling stories of their lives in the ocean. But he also saw their eyes, not just mindless predators but living creatures, part of the sea's vast world. Up on the boat, the crew had a plan. They tied a solid rope to a heavy metal tool and carefully lowered it to Alex. He reached out, his fingers wrapping around the cold metal. With a deep breath, he used all his strength to pull the door shut, the tool fitting perfectly into a latch to lock it. Just as the door clicked shut, the giant shark made one more slow circle around the cage. Then, with a flick of its tail, the shark swam off into the deep, followed by the others. The crew pulled Alex to the boat's safety, cheering and clapping him. Alex stepped onto the deck, his legs shaky, but his heart full of a new respect for the ocean and its creatures. He had gone seeking thrills, but found so much more, a deep connection to the wild, beautiful life beneath the waves. After the incident, the diving company reviewed all its safety protocols. They ensured every cage was checked and double-checked before entering the water. Alex's story spread, reminding everyone who heard it about respecting the ocean and its inhabitants. Alex continued to seek adventures, but he never forgot his encounter with the great white sharks of Gansby. He told his story to anyone who would listen, sharing the message of respect for nature's power and beauty. And sometimes when the sea called to him in his dreams, he would find himself back in the cage, the sharks circling, their eyes telling him the secrets of the deep blue sea. And so, Alex Turner's adventure with the sharks became a tale of courage, respect, and the bond between humans and the natural world. It was a reminder that moments of profound connection are waiting to be discovered in the heart of the wildest encounters. In a lively beach town named Recife in Brazil, known for its bright lights and fun parties at night, there lived a young man named Lucas. Lucas loved the ocean. He loved it so much that he often went for swims under the moon's glow after the sun went down. One evening, despite many people telling him it wasn't safe, Lucas decided to go for a swim. He told them the ocean was his friend, not heeding their warnings about sharks, especially at night. People in Recife knew sharks came closer to the shore when it was dark, but Lucas felt fearless. He laughed off their concerns, put on his swim shorts, and headed to the beach. The moon was bright, and the water looked inviting. Lucas dove into the sea, feeling the calm waves welcome him. He swam further out, leaving the safety of the shore behind. Back on the beach, the locals shook their heads. They knew the sea held mysteries and dangers after dark. They had seen bull sharks, big and powerful, in the water before. These sharks were nocturnal hunters, looking for food at night. But, feeling adventurous, Lucas didn't think he would ever meet one. As Lucas swam, enjoying the peace of the ocean at night, he didn't see the shadow moving beneath him. A giant bull shark, curious about the splashing above, decided to investigate. It moved silently, blending with the dark sea. Meanwhile, on the shore, a couple of Lucas's friends started to worry. They knew he was brave, but also knew the stories of the sea. They decided to keep a lookout, hoping to see Lucas return safely. Lucas, far from the beach now, started feeling something different. The water felt colder, and he suddenly realized he was not alone. He remembered the warnings about swimming at night and wished he had listened. Feeling a rush of fear, he started to swim back to the shore, hoping he was just imagining things. But the bull shark was curious and began to circle closer to Lucas. It was a majestic creature, solid and silent in its element. Lucas could now see its silhouette in the moonlight reflecting off the water. His heart raced, not knowing what to do. He remembered reading somewhere that if you encounter a shark, you should stay calm and not splash too much. Panic would only attract it more. So Lucas tried to keep his movements smooth and steady, hoping the shark would lose interest. On the beach, his friends grew more anxious. They called out for Lucas, their voices carrying over the waves, hoping he would hear them and swim faster. Lucas swam with all his might, trying to stay calm as the giant bull shark circled closer. The moonlight made the sea glow, revealing the shark's outline as it moved through the water. Lucas could see its big eyes and powerful body. He knew he had to be competent to return to the beach safely. The shark came closer, curious about Lucas. It was not often that it found humans in the water at night. Lucas remembered that making sudden moves could make the shark think he was prey. So he tried to swim steadily, keeping his eyes on the shark. Then, without warning, the shark darted forward. Lucas felt a tug at his leg. It was quick, like a pinch, but it scared him. He kicked hard, trying to show the shark he was a challenging target. The shark, maybe surprised by Lucas's reaction, backed away but kept circling. Lucas's heart was pounding. He had a few scratches on his leg where the shark had bumped into him. They were not deep, but they stung in the salty water. He knew he had to get out of the water fast. His friends started calling for help on the beach, knowing Lucas was in trouble. They shone flashlights over the water, trying to spot him. The light from the flashlights reached Lucas, giving him hope. He used all his strength to swim towards the light, towards safety. The shark, distracted by the lights and the commotion from the beach, decided to swim away into the more bottomless sea. Lucas saw the shark's silhouette disappear into the darkness. He felt relief and fear, knowing how close he had come to real danger. Finally, Lucas reached the shallow water. His friends ran into the waves, grabbing and pulling him to the beach. They wrapped him in towels, checking his leg for injuries. The scratches were shallow, but it was a reminder of how dangerous the ocean could be at night. The next day, Lucas's adventure was the talk of the town. Everyone was relieved he was safe, but they also reminded each other of the importance of respecting the ocean, especially at night. Lucas listened to their stories and advice, thankful for his second chance. Lucas learned a valuable lesson that night. He realized how important it was to listen to local warnings and respect the sea and its creatures. He promised himself and his friends that he would never take such a risk again. The community came together to review safety measures for night swimming and educate everyone about sharks' dangers. Lucas's story was a powerful reminder of the balance between humans and nature. Lucas healed quickly, and the scratches on his legs symbolized his respect for the ocean. He still loved the sea, but now he knew to enjoy it safely, with respect for its power and the creatures that call it home. And so Lucas's encounter with the bull shark became a tale of adventure, respect, and learning. It reminded everyone in Recife of the beauty and danger of the sea, teaching them always to heed the wisdom of those who knew it best. A brave woman named Anna lived in the sunny and beautiful Exuma, Bahamas, where the ocean sparkles like a treasure chest of gems. Anna had a story unlike any other. Years ago, she had a scary meeting with a shark, an encounter that filled her heart with fear whenever she thought about the sea. But Anna was also fearless. She decided she didn't want to live being scared of the ocean because she loved it too much. So Anna made a big decision. She would learn to scuba dive, to swim beneath the waves where the fish and corals live. She thought that if she could see the underwater world up close, she might not be scared anymore. She wanted to understand the sea, not fear it. Anna joined a scuba diving class. The dive instructor was a kind man named Mr. Carter, who knew the sea like the back of his hand. He had a calm and gentle way of teaching, perfect for someone like Anna who was trying to find her courage again. Mr. Carter and the other divers were all very supportive. They knew Anna was unique and that she was on a journey to learn about scuba diving and heal her heart. Together they practiced in shallow water first, learning to breathe with the scuba gear and move under the water. Anna felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, but with each dive, she felt more and more at home in the water. She loved seeing the colorful fish, the waving corals, and the sunlight dancing through the water. It was a world so peaceful and beautiful that it made her wonder why she had been scared. Then came the day of Anna's certification dive, proving she had learned all she needed to be a real scuba diver. They took a boat into the clear blue sea, far from the shore. Anna's heart was beating fast, but she was also excited. She put on her diving gear, took a deep breath of the ocean air, and jumped in. Under the water, Anna followed Mr. Carter and the group as they explored. The underwater world was even more beautiful here, with giant corals and schools of fish in every color you could imagine. Anna felt a peace she hadn't felt in a long time. Suddenly, Mr. Carter pointed to something in the distance. It was a shark, but not the kind Anna had met before. This one was a nurse shark, known for being gentle and calm. It lay on the ocean floor, its eyes watching them curiously. Anna's first instinct was to be scared, but then she remembered what Mr. Carter had taught her. She breathed deeply through her scuba gear and swam a little closer. The nurse shark didn't move. It looked peaceful and unafraid of her. At that moment, something changed in Anna. She saw the shark not as a scary monster, but as a beautiful part of the ocean. She realized that the sea was full of life, not dangers, and that every creature had its place. Anna swam back to the group, a big smile on her face. She had faced her fear and felt like she had won a big battle. The rest of the dive was excellent, and when they finally surfaced, Anna felt like a new person. As Anna emerged from the water, her heart was lighter than it had been in years. The encounter with the nurse shark during her certification dive in the Exuma, Bahamas, wasn't just a step in her scuba diving journey, but a leap towards healing. With Mr. Carter's and fellow divers' support, Anna faced her fears and embraced the beauty and tranquility of the underwater world she once feared. Back on the boat, Anna shared her experience with everyone. Mr. Carter smiled, proud of her bravery. He remarked that the ocean has a way of teaching about courage, respect, and harmony. Anna nodded, feeling a deep connection to his words. She realized that her fear of sharks had been replaced with profound respect and a desire to protect these misunderstood creatures. Inspired by her journey, Anna became an advocate for shark conservation. She wanted others to see sharks not as monsters of the deep, but as essential parts of the ocean's ecosystem. She shared her story far and wide, discussing protecting marine life and preserving their habitats. Anna's encounter with the nurse shark became a powerful message of overcoming fear through understanding and respect. Anna continued to dive, exploring more of the ocean's wonders, her heart filled with joy and a sense of purpose. Once a place of fear, the sea was now her source of inspiration and strength. She had discovered the beauty of the underwater world. She found her mission in life, to be a voice for the ocean and its inhabitants. And so, Anna's story became one of transformation, a journey from fear to fascination, from a traumatic encounter to a life dedicated to advocacy and conservation. The ocean had healed her in ways she never imagined. Now she was determined to give back, ensuring its wonders would be cherished and protected for generations.